Hey, good morning.
Good
Morning.
Thank you
morning.
for interviewing with me today and sharing some wisdom from your life. The first question of the day is, what is your name and ages?
I am Charlotte Durr. I am 76.
Husband Jim, closing in on 79.
Jim, or was it Jean's? Okay, so now that we have that preliminary question out of the way, the first important question of the day is, looking back on your life, how do you perceive time now?
Okay, for me, time is really speeding up. It seems like the older I get, the faster time goes. Yeah.
I used to recall when I was young, older people would say to me, once you hit a certain age, blink and you don't know where the time has gone. And that has really been true. From 50 on, time has really flown by. And, personally, I'm on third base heading home, timeline-wise, time frame-wise. But yeah, time goes quickly now.
And then a follow up to that, would you have any message to give younger people about the importance of using their time wisely?
I think it's wise to have some organization to your life. I'm not talking about being saturated with to-do lists, but to blend that with free time and whatever arises. So it's just a balance of the two. You don't want to lean too far one way, being super organized and lackadaisical on the other end. I think you have to balance the two.
And I think before I became a believer, looking back, I wasted so much time watching stupid soap operas on TV. And I'm thinking, why did I ever do that? But now I'm a believer, and I would not sit in front of a TV and watch a soap opera today. So it's being a believer has definitely changed my priorities.
For our next question, over your lifetime, how has money played a role in happiness and security?
You're the money man.
I think I project to what I should say, but that would be a falsehood. Money has been very important from a standpoint of at a very early age, 11, 12 years old. Our parents made us work. My brother and I were cutting grass, shoveling snow, really, because we had next to nothing. And we contributed to the household. And my father had a large garden. We grew all of our vegetables. We never bought vegetables in the wintertime because my mother had frozen everything. And so we worked there and then also go and cut grass to earn some money and then try to play sports. So we were very go, go, go. And later on in life, money became important because of security. I viewed myself, even though Charlotte worked, was a teacher, as the provider. And we wanted our kids to be able to go to college. That, by the way, has all changed as far as my philosophy. If we had young children now, college is not a big deal. I would say, if you're interested in that, go ahead. If you're not, pick up a trade or do something that you really love to do. So money has been important to us. When we started, I had the cheapest car in the world. Friends would tell me that it was a piece of tin with a steering wheel, and yet we put away expensive things in order to put some money away. You're the
Yeah.
money girl now.
Well, now, yeah. I try. Well, we're both pretty frugal. Like, I'm a thrift store shopper, consignments store shopper, yard sale. I used to be addicted to yard sales. Now I'm not because I have too much stuff. So we have to get rid of stuff. But yes, I think we've lived pretty frugally but been able to save and take some really nice vacations and do a lot with our kids and grandkids.
We have a beautiful home because her uncle and aunt were going to go into a nursing home. And we said, hold it, don't put it up for sale. And they really gave us a break on this house that we had, which is now too big for us.
Yeah.
So then a follow-up question on that one is, has money really changed your perspective of happiness or not? Have you been happier with more or have you been happy with less? Is it dependent upon your bank account?
I don't think happiness is dependent on how much you have in the bank. I don't.
I agree. And I do think that when you have some money, you're able to donate more and give more to worthy causes. It's funny with us because our younger daughter, as you might know, Pastor Jesse, and the husband are both missionaries. And they spent 11 months in the bowels of India getting people to come to know Jesus. And when she came home, we talked at length about their experience, and somehow during that conversation, mention of television came up. And she looked at us and very sincerely she said, Dad, why do we need a TV? And she has been instrumental, very much so, in changing my life and having me become a believer. And the ironic part of that is, and I've always said, should be the other way around. But she's been a great influence.
And
Yeah,
what
she is.
ages did you guys come to faith?
Oh gosh, I pretty much came to faith when Transfiguration Lutheran Church closed, and I started attending Emmanuel Lutheran. They had two services, the traditional and the contemporary, and I went right to the contemporary. And they had praise and worship nights. It was just all about Jesus. And even though I had grown up in the church, I believed in God, I did not have yet a personal relationship with Jesus. But there at the praise and worship night, especially the praise and worship nights, they were just overwhelming. I realized I finally got the connection. I needed Jesus in my life as my personal Savior. So I can't remember when that was, whenever Transfiguration Lutheran closed and I started going to Emmanuel. So that,
All my
Probably
life growing
15
up,
years.
pardon me,
go ahead.
in a suburb of Reading, I attended a called Bethany Lutheran Church. And altar boy, later became on church council, a lector. I was very close, very tiny church, and it's like many small churches. I spoke there a couple months ago, 32 people in attendance. And I just loved that. And one time again, over the holidays, our Rachel said to me, Dad, you and Mom need to go to the same church. And she was right. And long story short, that's how I came to Coventry. In fact, Rachel told us about Coventry, and such a good move for me. And that's when I really came to know Jesus.
And was that like, how many years ago? Yeah.
5, 6.
Well, we've been at Coventry now. Let's see, 2018 we were baptized. So we've been
5.
a little bit before. Yeah, we almost.
I think 2013 minus 2018 is 5.
Okay.
Okay.
Something like that. Going on 6, probably.
For our next question, what is one of the most important things that you've learned about dealing with people?
Dealing with people. Oh, that old adage, don't judge a book by its cover, is one thing. First impressions are not always correct.
Wow,
Add to
we
that.
could give so many examples of that. The other thing I would say is, and I guess I date back to when I was an educator, and with both faculty and students, even with parents, I was always big in giving people a second chance. Very big on that. And yet, at some instances, if, that wasn't working, for lack of better terms, I had a real problem. I looked for patterns in people. And if it was a habitual thing, that's one thing to deal with. If it was I messed up. And it was such a blessing to be able to, hey, I've been there, I've done that, I know what it is, and people have forgiven me. Let's move on. That's how I would respond to that.
Thank you. For our next question, what is one of the biggest lessons that God has taught you in your life?
I would say right along with what I just said, answered the last question. Although I can be pretty stubborn at times. Second chances. We've spent a lot of time. Something has told me, and I think I mentioned this to Pastor Mark recently, that in the last 2-3 years, I'm making it a point to every day compliment someone. Someone I don't know many times, far-reaching things about a man who pulls into a gas station and he's got this pickup truck and you can tell he's working, but the pickup truck is spotless. And just going over to him and saying, wow, I can tell you spent a lot of time and have great pride in you. It makes the person's day. And we do that with waitresses when we go to a restaurant. We ask to see the manager, and right away, did I do something wrong? And not at all. But and I really think that the world would really be in better shape if everybody practiced that. We seem to have a penchant for finding the negative, but if we can accent the positive, pat on the back, a hug, words of encouragement, and it can't be phony, it's got to be sincere from the heart. But I think God has directed me to be doing that.
Good answer.
Charlotte, do you resonate with that? So now I know why I got some email before.
Well, yeah, there's.
Thank you.
It brings me great joy, and it not only works from having the person who's the recipient of that feel good. It makes you feel good. Wow, I can actually see I made someone's day.
So here's another one, and it's regarding marriage. So first off, how many years have you guys been married?
What time is it?
10 o'clock.
I think it's going to be
Let me preface
43?
it. What am I going to preface? We dated for 9 years.
Okay.
I lived in the gutter much of my life. And Charlotte saw that, but I think, I can't speak for her, but she saw some potential.
There was hope.
There was hope.
She likes to refurbish things and thrift.
That was her good deed.
My project.
I remember when I asked her father for her hand in marriage. He didn't answer. He just looked at me. And I said, Mr. Lynch, may I have permission to marry your daughter? And Pastor Jesse, he didn't answer me again. And I think he was in shock. I think he perceived, well, you've dated all these years. What's the big deal? And finally, I said, Mr. Lynch, with all due respect, I want to tell you that I'm marrying your daughter. Oh, yeah, that's fine. I agree. I agree. But that's one of our favorite stories. So we had children.
Yeah, it took him a long time to grow up. So
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also to really have a wonderful relationship with God and with my Lord and Savior. I mean, I always was a believer, but not where I should have been. And so I forget what the question
So
was.
how many years have you been married? You have to
Oh.
preface it.
Okay.
9 years of dating.
No,
but then-
we were
We were
married.
at 7, 8, 78.
So that's 22, and this is our 45th wedding anniversary.
Wow.
And we
Yeah,
have
in July, 45th.
6 grandkids, and the oldest is 10.
So we started out young.
And I'm going to be 80.
Wait, when is your anniversary? 7 what?
7, 8.
7, 8, 78.
Yeah, that's our.
That's when you're going to get
Yeah,
married.
right.
I think Pat and
Or,
Or the Fred. Wait, who else?
Yeah.
Somebody else has that same
yeah,
anniversary.
it's not the Fredericks.
Is it,
It's Pat and
it's a popular date. It's a summer date, you know, and
yeah.
Could it be Betty Bauer? I'm not sure now. No. Someone. I can't remember. Someone else does. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's a big day.
I know who it is. It's Pat and her husband, but I'm blanking on his name right now.
not Jim. Greg? No.
Oh, wait. Smith.
Yes,
Pat and Bob.
Bob.
Smith.
That's it.
Okay.
Okay.
Pat
Pat and Bob Smith.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's them.
I knew it was somebody.
Right.
Yes. So coming up on 45. So the question then that was tied to that is, what is your key to a happy marriage?
You have a good
Lots
answer for this.
and lots of prayer.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you want to
and-
explain that?
Yeah.
That could have an
And-
asterisk to it. Could you?
Because no marriage is perfect. But lots of prayer. Be quick to forgive.
Do you want to get that?
No.
Oh,
no,
should I
don't.
not? Should I let it go?
I'll call back.
I mean,
Yeah.
how long will it
Well, you also said about, when we looked over these, about time with other people.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think it's important to have shared interests in a marriage, but also have individual interests that you like to do. And I like to do things with my, still call them girlfriends, lady friends, and do things at the senior center and the Y and yeah, activities. And Jim likes to hang out with his buddies and.
Yeah, from working in the school district west of Reading, I've always been attached to their football team, and I do not miss a Y-missing football game, home or away, and that's been like that for 48 years.
Really? You
Yeah.
got all the games.
I go to all the games. I sit on the sidelines. I mean, I have ninth graders when they move up to the varsity. They think I'm a coach. They come up to me and, Coach, is it okay? I'm not a coach. No.
That's funny.
But have built tremendous relationships with, at the time, former students. Now, all of my students are out of college, married, and their children are on the team. So it's been but come fall, it's the greatest season time of the year for me personally.
So your key then is to have shared interests, but also to have your own hobbies or activities that
Exactly.
retreat to here
Exactly.
and there.
Yes.
Do you do any of those things together? Like, do you go to the football games at all, or?
Not the white. No, not the wine missing. Like we'll go to oldies concerts and dances and
She's quite a dancer.
vacation. We've gone on a lot of vacation trips together and whatnot. But
Well,
and we take walks.
I'm a Civil War buff, and particularly Gettysburg.
Oh, really?
And
Many times.
I'm at the point now, after lectures and all these groups I belong to, I actually give tours to friends, family, even friends of friends. She will go with me, Pastor Jesse, to Gettysburg if included in that is dinner at one of their two
Yes.
fine dining places.
Yes.
Dobbins Inn or the Farnsworth House.
Yes.
Then she'll go along. That's got to be part of
Yes.
it. No interest.
Because, one or two tours are enough for me. And the restaurants are great and the little shops and
Yeah, Gettysburg is a cute little town, and I think if we had to move, not had to move, but if we were going to move, other than being distance from our child and our daughter and grandchildren, our family, I could live in Gettysburg just like that. I love the town. Yeah.
You ever been to the Cannonball ice cream parlor?
Yeah, the ice cream parlor right across from Farnsworth House is the one where you get the long lines in summer, just out from Steinware Avenue. But I haven't heard of
It
Cannonball.
has a cannonball lodged into the side of the front of the building.
probably have
Okay,
seen it.
that probably is because right across the street is the Farnsworth Inn, where it has 100 mini balls from the battle in the wooden, out inside the walls.
Wow.
Yeah.
So we got a little distracted there, but bringing it back to the next question. As we approach the 300th anniversary of Coventry Church, how is one way that God has used Coventry in your life to mature you as a Christian?
Wow, I think just attending, we haven't been there that long, but I love that Coventry is all about Jesus. I love that. And
People.
the people, Pastor Mark, you can tell his passion. You can tell your passion, Jesse, for Christ. And the people there are so welcoming and
Yeah, the
Just
best
the-
way to put that, I think, pardon me, is that even though we've been there for only 5 years, it seems as though we've known all these people all our life. They've been so accepting, so great friendships have developed.
and the small groups have been
Oh, yeah.
really instrumental in increasing our faith. And
Confession time. I have to tell you, when small group idea was initiated, I said to her driving home, I don't know about this. I don't know about this. And so wrong. And I've just gotten so much out of that. And the idea of being able to talk with people who you normally wouldn't talk to because you didn't know them, it's just been a blessing. And we've been an integral part of the small group dealing with grief and learned so much with that. So,
Thank you. And then one more question. You say you haven't been at Coventry for a really long time, but what was an event or moment in your time of attending Coventry that you will not forget?
definitely for me, our baptism. That was in August of 2018. That, that was amazing. And that means the world to me, being baptized.
yeah, going back to this, what I told you about our younger daughter, and our older daughter is terrific too. She's a teacher and just a wonderful mother and a wonderful daughter. a believer. But our Rachel, one time or another, I was saying about we're going to be joining church at Coventry and we're going to be baptized. I said, I don't know. So I was baptized and whoa, as a baby. And she said, baptized as a baby. And there I became a student. I sat and I listened as she explained how that might be the in thing on many fronts. It really needs to happen when you know why it's happening and what have you. And boom, just changed me around once again. Again, so I've learned so much from my spouse and my daughters. It's been incredible, and that's all God making that happen.
Well, thank you. Did you have any last? Did I interrupt?
No, we're good.
Well, thank you for taking some time out of your day to interview and share some of your life with us. Do you have any last comments before we close for the day?
Last comments.
Oh, well, you know,
Your open mic moment.
with what? I missed.
Our
Your
open mic moment.
Oh. Well, you know, if this is meant for younger people to look at, I would say that I really would encourage them to be conversant with what's happening in the world. I look for churches to become more actively involved in talking certainly about Jesus and what he does in our lives. But we also need to know about Satan. That's my opinion. Boston, where our daughter lives, just had the largest satanic conference. And I mean, they were booked within 2 weeks. All the hotels sold out. And I can't watch news at 8 o'clock at night anymore because I can't sleep. I mean, with what's going on. And my wife keeps saying, God will provide. God will take care of all that's been happening. But it's been really difficult for me. Really, really tough. And I would just, you know, it's good to recognize all the good in the world, and yet we have to be cautious. We have to be see and understand what's been happening.
And I think we need to know God's plan for the end times. And his plan for our salvation, and it is a narrow road. And there are so many people, they have no idea what happens after they die. No idea. And that you're going to spend eternity in either heaven or hell. And I think the churches have to preach that, and we need to share that with people, because there are so many people just living day by day and have no clue God's plan for the end of this world and heaven, and that there is a hell. And yeah, so it's so important that we get more people saved, that we can, well, I know God does that, but we can in some way be instrumental in that. But because I know if I didn't have my strong faith, I know because of everything going on in this world, I know I would be in a deep, dark depression. I know I would. And Jesus is my Savior. He's my hope. He's everything. And through him, you know, we have hope for eternal life. And
I'd want to add quickly one other thing, Pastor Jesse, about a last comment, and that has to do with prayer. One of the things we really need to pray, and that can be close the door. I only have 1 minute right now because of whatever I'm doing, but say a 1 minute prayer, or a time where you just go and sit, and that every prayer needs to start with giving thanks. And, you know, I think